jobs. Mornings with Mo.
Good morning, everyone. It is February the 24th, meaning we only have a couple more days to go of this month. So, yay. And good morning, Wolfram. Thank you for your doing your Modly Mod duties. You are greatly missed. Welcome, Greedy Bloke, and Christine, and 80s Music Man, and Captain Kern. Happy belated birthday. Sorry I missed that. Yesterday was just, a long day. And we have tons and tons of news today, all crazy, all shenanigans, and some serious. Good morning, Dark Allele. So our first story was an American Airlines flight from JFK was diverted and escorted to Rome by fighters after a bomb threat on board. So, again, make the great American road trip great again. An American Airlines flight from JFK Airport to Delhi was forced to divert in Rome and dramatically landed Sunday under a fighter escort after a bomb threat on board. The 199 passengers and 15 crew members on American Airlines Flight 292 endured nearly 15 hours stuck on the plane as a result of the scare. The flight was just 2 hours from its destination when it made an abrupt U-turn over the Central Asian country of Turkmenistan due to a possible security issue, the plane confirmed. Now, passengers said the first sign they saw that something was wrong was when the captain announced they had a diversion due to a security issue before the aircraft made a sharp 180-degree turn away from the Indian capital back towards Europe. I felt a little panic of, okay, what's happening here? Passenger Najira Chopra, who is traveling from his home in Detroit, Michigan, to visit family in India, told the Associated Press. Now, the plane had diverted due to a possible bomb on board, per the Italian Air Force. Jaw-dropping images on social media showed the Boeing 7879 Dreamliner being tailed by two Italian Eurofighter Typhoon warplanes. In total, the passengers were stuck in the air for 14 hours and 45 minutes before they finally landed at Rome's Leonardo da Vinci Airport. It was definitely the longest flight to Europe I've ever taken, Jonathan Bacon, 22, from Dayton, Ohio, told the AP. He said that once they landed, all the passengers were loaded onto buses with their luggage and underwent additional security screenings inside the terminal. They are still waiting for their checked bags more than 2 hours after they'd landed. Safety and security are our top priorities, and we thank our customers for understanding, American Airlines said in a statement. We're working closely with local authorities and will provide updates as the situation develops. The plane left New York's JFK International Airport at around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday for the 14-hour trip to India's capital. It landed in Rome about 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time Sunday after making a massive loop back to Europe. The incident comes less than 2 weeks after American Airlines plane was evacuated, then delayed for nearly 5 hours in Texas because a passenger had a Wi-Fi hotspot titled, "There's a bomb on the flight. People are stupid." We are stupid and not smart. And whoever did that, look, I get you're trying to be a smartass, and normally I enjoy smartassery, but that's just plain dumb. For us recovering Catholics out there and Catholics in general, it looks like Pope Francis remains in critical condition and has a slight kidney issue, according to the Vatican. So the current The current Pope Francis is battling double pneumonia and remains in critical condition for the second day running, but has shown an initial and slight inefficiency in his kidney function as well, the Vatican said on Sunday. The prognosis for the 88-year-old Pope, who required a transfusion of 2 units of blood on Saturday after experiencing a prolonged asthma-like respiratory crisis, remains guarded according to the latest medical update. Francis was admitted to Rome's Gemelli Hospital on February 14th. The Vatican first described his condition as of Saturday as critical. The condition of Holy Father remains critical. However, since last night, he has not experienced further respiratory crises, said the Vatican on Sunday. Now, blood tests also indicated a slight, renal insufficiency, which is currently under control. The complexity of the clinical picture, though, and the necessity to wait for pharmacological therapies to show some effect requires that the prognosis remain guarded. Now, the statement described the Pope as both alert and oriented and receiving high flow oxygen therapy through a nasal cannula, so that little nose thing, which those are irritating if you've ever had to wear one. We have advanced to 2025. Can we make a nasal cannula that doesn't irritate the ever living hell out of you? Just for those of us who've had to have one. Now, double pneumonia is a serious infection that can inflame and scar both lungs, making it difficult to breathe. The Vatican has described the Pope's infection as complex, saying it's been being caused by 2 or more microorganisms. Francis has been the Pope since 2013 and has suffered bouts of ill health in the past 2 years. He is particularly prone to lung infections because he developed pleurisy as a young adult and had part of one lung removed. The Vatican said on Saturday that the Pope needed a blood transfusion because tests showed that he had a low platelet count associated with anemia. On Sunday, the Vatican said that the transfusion had shown benefit and increased the Pope's level of hemoglobin, a protein that helps carry oxygen throughout the body. So, it seems like he is in critical condition. He does have one less lobe of a lung, so this is incredibly critical, and he is older, so I don't want anyone to be sick, so I hope he does get better and continues his popeliness. I don't know. I'm a recovering Catholic. I haven't kept up with Catholicism lately, so I don't want anyone to pass away, but he is fairly old, so hopefully he's getting the best care. And then we have this story, and y'all know I couldn't beat this one. Can't bleat this. Firefighters rescue a goat from a 5th floor window ledge in a hair-raising rescue. Now, why the hell is there a goat in New York City on the 5th? Why am I asking questions about why there's a goat? But I think we need to ask Valhalla. I feel like Valhalla was responsible for this, allegedly in Minecraft. And I feel like Valhalla caused goat shenanigans in the Big Apple. I feel like this is one of his kids. So, a mischievous goat somehow got itself stuck on a 5th floor window ledge in Spain. Oh, well, okay, so it's not in New York, it's in Spain. Read the titles. Well, apparently this is in Spain, but I still have the same question. How did Valhalla get to Spain, and why are his kids acting feral and wild? Forcing firefighters to pull off a hair-raising rescue with the whole thing caught on video. Among the services we provide are rescues of animals at risk, firefighters in Madrid said in Spanish on a Facebook post after last week's rescue. This intervention, we received the notice of a goat on a ledge of a 5th floor. Video. They tried to lure him with carrots. Look, no one's going anywhere for a carrot. Once the rescue was over, the Madrid Emergency Veterinary Service was responsible for finding it a home, the firefighters said. Firefighters hoofed it to the scene after getting reports of the stranded goat on Wednesday. Video footage showed them climbing onto the balcony with one firefighter reaching over to pull out a container of water and several carrots to try to lure the scared goat back to safety. The goat took the bait and was seen gingerly walking on the ledge of the balcony as spectators on the ground could be heard cheering far below, while the rescuers stepped back into a vacant apartment to avoid spooking the animal. "Oh, he's okay." He's like, "I'm the best kid ever. This looks like my feral kid after doing something wild." And he's like, "Did it?" And you're like, "No. Why must you always try to hurt yourself?" Leave her, one firefighter is heard saying. "She's coming on her own, leave her." The goat finally jumped onto an adjacent balcony, and a firefighter snuck up behind it, grabbing the scared kid and getting it safely to the ground where animal rescue workers waited. It is still a bit of a mystery as to where the goat came from and how it ended up on the fifth floor. I mean, high on the fifth floor ledge was a lonely goat herd. Yole, 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 hee-hoo. I love that movie. I always thought it ended when they got married because I have ADHD, and that was about the time my bedtime was. So imagine the shock of adult Mo realizing it didn't end when they got married years later. I was like, there's a whole other half to this damn movie. I never knew. True story. In sadder news, it looks like a motive has been revealed in the Pennsylvania hospital shooting that left one officer dead and 5 injured. Anguish and anger at a very recent loss of a loved one apparently spurred on a man who would target the intensive care unit at a Pennsylvania hospital Saturday morning, a senior law enforcement official briefed on the investigation told ABC News. One officer was killed and at least 5 others were shot in the hostage situation that unfolded at the hospital in York County, according to state officials. The suspect, DOG's Archangel Ortiz, entered UPMC Memorial in West Manchester Township with a force multiplier and zip ties around 10:30 a.m. He then went into the ICU and took several hospital staff hostage, officials said in a press release on Saturday afternoon. Ortiz shot a hospital doctor, nurse, and custodian, all of whom are now stable, officials said. 3 police officers were shot during the incident, and 1 has passed away. West York Borough Police Officer Andrew Darte was killed in the shooting, and the borough did confirm that the other 2 officers were hospitalized in stable condition. Archangel Ortiz, who was upset over what he perceived as lack of care for a family member who had just been admitted to the hospital's ICU, was a motivating factor, one senior official said. That family member was terminal, something that Archangel Ortiz had difficulty understanding and accepting, the official added. That family member had passed on within the last week. When Archangel Ortiz entered the hospital Saturday, he was headed for the ICU, where there was a small medical team, including 1 doctor who had treated his family member. Archangel Ortiz is believed to have acted alone in this incident. This is a huge loss for our community, York County District Attorney Tim Barker said. Officer Darte gave his life protecting others. Law enforcement from multiple agencies, including West York Borough Police, Pennsylvania State Police, and York County Quick Response Team, responded to the situation. Officers did attempt to negotiate with Ortiz, but he did emerge from the ICU holding a staff member at force multiplier point, her hands bound in zip ties. Unfortunately, the officers were left with no recourse, Barker said. They opened fire, unaliving the suspect, preventing further loss of life. So this is going to be a big one. Now, after reviewing surveillance footage and witness statements, it's absolutely clear and beyond any doubt that the officers acted lawfully in using deadly force, he said. Quite frankly, they needed to, because by doing so, they were potentially saving more lives. Now, UPMC said that no patients were injured during this shooting. So I am glad that most people were able to get out of this with their lives. I feel terrible for that officer's family. I hope they are getting all the support they need. People are losing it, and I don't know what we need to do. I am a professional, semi-silly person on the internet. I wish I had answers. I don't think they're going to be this answer, but we can all try it. Canadians get the world drinking tree sap? I mean, is tree sap like enhanced with psychotropics? Because I don't know if I'm just going to drink like living tree water, guys. I love my Canadian friends, but I don't know about this. While drinking tree sap does not immediately sound appealing, Canadian producers are hoping that it will be the next must-try soft drink around the world. We've all heard of maple syrups, which is made by boiling down the sap of maple trees to produce a sweet, thick, golden brown colored syrup that is typically poured over pancakes. What is far less known is that you can drink the sap itself, which is called maple water. Clear in color, it contains just 2% natural sugars, so it's only slightly sweet. A small but growing number of producers in Canada are now selling this maple water in cans or cartons, giving it first a filter and pasteurization to kill off any microbes. People feel like they're drinking from the wild Canadian forest, said Yannick Lerick of Maple 3, a producer of maple water drinks based in Quebec City. Now, advocates point out the fact that it's a natural drink, and makers hope that it can steal sales from existing products like coconut water. Well, coconut water is gross. I have tried it. I want to be powerful and be all healthful, and it smells like butt water to me. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I don't feel like. Besides, it would just make me want a bunch of carbs. Like, I could see me drinking this, trying to be healthy, and only wanting pancakes. I don't know. As Canada is far and away the world's biggest producer of maple syrup, accounting for 80% or more of the production, it seems understandable that the nascent maple water sector is also Canadian. Furthermore, it's centered in a province of Quebec, which makes up 90% of Canada's maple syrup. Mr. Leclerc says that Maple 3 is one of the pioneers of the sector. Nobody previously thought about keeping sap for its hydration purposes versus just boiling it into syrup. He founded the company back in 2013 with business partner Stéphane Nollet. In recent years, they've gotten an increasing number of other producers entering the marketplace. Now, Mr. Larek claims that Maple 3 has doubled its annual profits since 2021, with sales rising not just across Canada, but in France, Japan, Singapore, South Korea, and other places. Look, I'll try a bottle. You know what? I'll try some. Let me see if I can get some on Amazon, and we'll try some. If it's not as bad as coconut water and it's hydrational full and it's sweet-ish, I'll try it. Now I need to put that on my to-do list. So look up Maple 3, find out how expensive it is. Watch it be like $120 to send it to America because Trump has pissed all the Canadians off. Like, look, I am just a simple American. I don't want you guys to be the 51st state. I just want some of your weird Canada water. Please send me some. Don't punish me. I am not the messenger. In the Walmart rapture? Now, can we get this trial? If anyone knows if this trial was streamed, we need this trial. Like, stat. A man who bombed a woman's home and plotted a python attack learns his fate. I mean, nothing says I love you like a python attack. A Georgia man who pled guilty to bombing a woman's home in a bizarre plot that included conspiring to, quote, release a large python into the victim's home to eat the victim's daughter, end quote, was sentenced to 20 years in prison, authorities announced. Well, I mean, he sounds like just a peach of a guy. I mean, a boa constrictor to eat your child? What in the Looney Tunes Wile E. Coyote is this crap? And a bomb? What the hell, dude? Stephen Glossier, 38, of Savannah, was sentenced to 240 months in federal prison. Damn, it's federal, so it is not going to be streamed. Damn. You know what's funny is it would probably be cheaper if I had someone in France buy me the Maple 3 and then send it over here. Well, see, us poor Americans are just going to drink our clearly American, since you guys want to be all fussy about your maple. I have maple trees out in my backyard. I'm just going to go take one from there. Screw you, Canada. Don't clip that. I'm going to have an entire just army of angry Canucks just after me. Oh my goodness. I might. You know what? Now that they told me I can't now, well, now that they told me I can't have them, I'm going to have to make America First, Maple 3, even though I'm not even sure I like it, just because it's lit that fire under me. It'll be okay. I'm sure it will come here to America as soon as you say it makes you age less or gives you, like, just say it increases your maleness and it'll be free down here. Ew, plain maple water? I can only see this being bad, but I will look into it and see if I can get some. I'm willing to spend $30 to make a weird face on the internet. I don't know what that makes me, but I'm going to say semi-professional. It is okay, Tammy C. That's pricey for 3 drinks, but not pricey for an internet gag, considering I have also eaten, s'mores flavored ramen noodles. I do have a 5,000 thing to do, so maybe if I get that, I can do non-alcoholic wheel of woe, what did I do kind of things. But let's get back to this Python bombing shenanigans. No idea. So Stephen Glasser, 38, of Savannah, was sentenced to 240 months in federal prison after pleading guilty to stalking the use of an explosive to commit another felony offense, prosecutors in Georgia announced Thursday. A judge also ordered Glasser to pay over $500,000 in restitution to 2 victims in the case. Glasser and his co-defendant, Caleb Kinsey, 34, were charged in March 2024, accused of building an explosive to blow up the victim's home in Richmond Hill, Georgia, on January 13th, 2023. 2 people inside the home at the time survived. Now, a Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives investigator told CBS affiliate WTOC in 2023 that Glasser had met the victim through a dating app, though authorities did offer a possible motive behind the alleged crimes. Glasser had located the victim's home using internet searches based on an image that the victim had previously shared with him. Prosecutors alleged that Glasser, in his guilty plea, described his efforts to communicate with his co-conspirator to create a plan to, quote, kill, intimidate, harass, or injure the owner of the home. This included conspiring to acquire and shoot arrows into the victim's front door, acquire and release a large python into the victim's home to eat the victim's daughter, and acquire and mail dog feces to the victim's home, acquire and mail dead rats to the victim's home, scalp the victim, blow up the victim's home, according to the plea deal. After the bombing, Glasser hired a cleaning service to clean the carpets in his home to hide traces of bomb-making materials. Thankfully, the family was able to get out of the house with no injuries, the Bryan County Sheriff's Office said in a social media post at the time. Okay, Dingus, you cannot be on the desk. This is not a big desk. Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, I'll look. Okay, on February 2023, the Georgia Office of the Commissioner of Insurance and Fire Safety said that Glasser and Kinsey had been arrested. Now, Kinsey was arrested in Louisiana and is awaiting prosecution in the Southern District of Georgia, prosecutors said Thursday. This case serves as a stark reminder that those who use terror and threats to intimidate others will face the full force of the law, Georgia Bureau of Investigation Director Chris Hosey said in a statement Thursday. We are fortunate that no lives were lost, and I commend the tireless efforts of the ATF and our local partners for their dedication in bringing this dangerous individual to justice. So, holy fazolies. So it sounds like they maybe met on a dating app. She was like, you're not the guy I want to mate with. And he was like, well, I'm going to send a boa constrictor to your house. and dead rats and feces and possibly scalp you. People, take a chill pill. I I don't know if this is the sign of the end times. I looked at Revelation and it had nothing about Justin Bieber getting into a fight at a hockey game. So I think we're good for right now. Justin Bieber drops gloves with Jeremy Roenick at an LA charity hockey game. Now, why does the guy without pads look even bigger than Justin Bieber without the pads? Justin Bieber and Jeremy Roenick didn't appear to be saying sorry after the two dropped gloves during Sunday's Skate for LA Strong event at Crypto.com Arena. It's likely because the two were all smiles after the music superstar and hockey Hall of Famer tussled during the charity hockey tournament. Bieber, 30, and 55-year-old Roenick pretended to be trading blows briefly while Roenick's jersey was over his head. The ex-NHLer Derek Armstrong, who played at the time with the Islanders and the Rangers, stepped in to separate the two before Nate Thompson, another pro hockey player and former Islander, also raced to the scene. Bieber had a huge smile on his face as he skated away. So let's see this fake fight. You better not have music. This is dumber than I thought it was going to be. That was more like, get that 12-year-old child away from that grown man. Justin Bieber's such a teeny tiny little lad. That's Justin Bieber. Someone go help Justin. Snoop Dogg, who was serving as an honorary coach for Team Black along with Will Ferrell, said during the scuffle. Former Devil PK Subban and actor Ben Hollingsworth also got into a scrape during a different time at the event. Sunday's event was put on by the Los Angeles Kings and the National Hockey League and featured stars Bieber, I always want to call him Beaver, but Bieber and Steve Carell, Danny DeVito, Snoop Dogg, Ferrell, Al Mitchells, Kobe Smulders, Hannah Stocking, Vince Vaughn, and Andrew Whitworth all served as honorary coaches in the tournament. We're looking to have a good time and show when we come together, good things happen, Bieber said during the event. The tournament was called a lot of fun. This is a great, amazing celebration of hockey and first responders. It was fun to see that everyone showed up and some of LA's firefighters were playing. So it was a good feeling, Roenick said per ESPN. Now, Bieber has been in the headlines recently as rumors about his marriage and his well-beings have been swirling around the baby singer. Now, Bieber's reps have fired back, telling TMZ that they are exhausting and pitiful and shows the depth of obvious truth. People are committed to keeping negative, salacious, and harmful narratives alive. Have you been on the internet in 2025? This is the internet. It's basically 99.9%, salacious gossip and memes. I thought we kind of all figured that out. Well, now I'm not going to be able to go on a cruise anymore. Like, I figured flying was out for me, but now a cruise is out for me too. Cruise ship lawyer warns of quote unquote absolutely horrifying inspection report on Royal Caribbean. Disney would never. Looks like it's bad for cruises too. It is the era of inside vacations, homecations. Say it with me, everyone. A lawyer who says he sues cruise lines for a living called out Royal Caribbean following an absolutely horrifying results of an inspection done by the CDC. Spencer Armfield, known on TikTok as Cruise Ship Lawyer, made a video last week where he described what went wrong when the CDC inspected a Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas ship. Well, I'm guessing by the look on his face, everything. Although, sir, Those glasses are fabulous. I dig the whole look, but you look like you're either gonna audit me or ask me why I'm still single or I haven't done anything. He reminds me of like my aunt who's very like hip, but would also ask you those hard questions like, so are you gonna do anything with your life other than this channel thing? I don't know. I just feel judged already. And I really like that suit jacket and I want to steal it. Anywho. Aaron Field said that the biggest issue was raw eggs and raw hamburger were being stored at incorrect refrigeration temperature on the boat. Furthermore, crew members at the Johnny Rockets had allegedly had open wounds and were touching ice with their bare hands. Well, that's it. I'm never going to eat ever again. In addition, several children came down with severe GI problems while in the daycare centers, and the daycare center failed to show protocols referring to them to a medical center, and for reporting these things as acute gastrointestinal illnesses, projectile diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal cramps. That misstep by the cruise line, according to Aaron Field, allowed these poor kids to potentially spread a norovirus to both their parents and other passengers. Aaron Field also claimed that the CDC scored the ship an 86 at the inspection report, which he claimed is just barely satisfactory. 1 point less, which is 85, would have been an unsatisfactory evaluation, which would have probably caused them to have to cancel the cruise. Quite frankly, I think they should have. Aaron Field said it would also cost Royal Caribbean about $65,000 to correct these issues in the allowed short time span. Now, in a follow-up video, Aaron Field said that as of Friday, February 21st, Royal Caribbean has not issued a corrective report, which they have to do to fix the problems outlined by the CDC, which lends me to believe that they haven't fixed it, said Aaron Field, which means that these problems are still existing. The ship's sailing and it's got passengers on it right now, but I sure hope that Royal Caribbean has at least done enough to correct these issues, but they should have reported it to the CDC, he added. Now, Aaron Field's commenters and followers responded to his video exposing Royal Caribbean in the comments. Disney Cruise Line would never, one person wrote. Did he say Symphony of Disease? Another person joked. A third TikToker said, cruises are disgusting. Is this surprising? I'm disappointed in Royal Caribbean. I expected more from this cruise line, another person commented, to which Aaron Field responded, me too. Now, someone else called on the CDC to inspect every ship docked in the U.S., to prevent, because we've all heard about those cruises. I do probably a story every quarter where the entire cruise gets knocked down with some, projectile grossness. So, yeah, I guess I'm just going to stay home in my house. It's fairly safe-ish. I'll be okay. A woman accused of killing a Southern California fire captain wife faced over a decade in prison for her estranged husband's murder. This is, like I said, I tried to find a bunch of fun stories, but apparently there is just a lot of news. So I'm trying to sprinkle in good, absurd stories, but there is just like a heck of news stories today. A woman accused of stabbing her wife, a Southern California fire captain, to death was previously convicted in her husband's eerily similar murder more than 2 decades ago. Yolanda Marodi. Yolanda Marodi, 53, has been on the run since authorities named her as the prime suspect in the brutal killing of her 49-year-old wife, California fire captain Rebecca Marodi, last week. While authorities investigate the February 17th domestic homicide, old newspaper clippings have resurfaced detailing Yolanda's prior murder charge in 2000 for stabbing a man to death in San Bernardino County. The clippings revealed that her victim was none other than her estranged husband. In October 2000, James Joseph Obloneshchik, look, I am very sorry, he was 26. He was stabbed to death in his apartment. Detectives quickly nabbed Yolanda, who went by Yolanda Mercedes Obloneshchik, after the 28-year-old had attempted to flee with her 2 young children before turning herself in to authorities. She pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 13 years, 8 months in prison, but she only served a fraction of that and was behind bars from 2004 to November 2013. The convicted killer's new partner, Rebecca, was similarly found stabbed to death in the home that they shared last Monday. She received numerous stab wounds and was pronounced dead at the scene, the sheriff's office said in a news release. Since then, Yolanda has been in the wind. Anyone with information about Yolanda Marodi's whereabouts is urged to call San Diego County Sheriff's Homicide Unit. You know, I imagine she would be considered armed and dangerous. If you see this woman, do not attempt to approach her, call the cops. You know, all that, use your thinking bits and not your dumb bits part. But this is terrifying. It does make me wonder how she even got out of prison when she, stabulated someone almost to death. She does look like the mom from the Goonies. I didn't want to taint that movie, though, but she looks like a glammed up mom from the Goonies. Well, I didn't know that this was something that people were going to try to steal, but officials uncover or recover 2,000 pounds of evidence after foiling a smuggling attempt. The suspects must be punished to the maximum. Authorities foiled a trafficking plot that could have seen over $1 million worth of illegal pangolin scales being smuggled out of Indonesia, the Associated Press reported. The traffickers were found to be in possession of over 1 ton of pangolin scales, which were the product of at least 5,900 dead pangolins. At a news conference, Racio Redi Sani, Director of General Law Enforcement at the Environment Ministry, said that 4 suspects, 3 of whom are Army members, have been charged with illegal possession of carcasses of protected animals. If they are found guilty, they could face up to 20 years in prison and $14,000 in fines. Now, pangolins are in demand for their meat in China and Vietnam, where they are considered to be a delicacy. Those scales were headed to China, likely to be used in traditional medicine, an area where they're served as a popular ingredient despite of any, scientific proof of their medicinal value. This was the 8th pangolin smuggling plot foiled in Indonesia in 2024. Dozens of similar smuggling groups have been exposed around the world, as Down to Earth revealed. Now, trafficking does a great deal of damage, eradicating species, and it disrupts ecosystems' natural balance in the food chain, putting other species there at risk. Similar damage can occur when trafficked species are introduced to new environments where they're geographically invasive, wreaking havoc on normal populations. Now, pangolins in particular have become critically endangered due to this illegal trading. According to Traffic, an anti-wildlife trade nonprofit, 23.5 tons of pangolins were smuggled in 2021 alone, making them the most trafficked mammal on the planet. Okay, I have a dumb question, and maybe it's because I don't live in Indonesia, but can you not breed pangolins? Can we not have a pangolin farm? Look, I know pangolins are that weird aardvark looking thing, right? I don't know why you would breed them, but if there is a demand, I mean, can we domesticate them so we're not impacting? Look, I am a semi-weirdo on the internet, so I don't have a bunch of answers, but maybe if you could breed the pangolins, I don't know. Now, Sani, speaking at the Indonesian press conference, agreed killing thousands of pangolins will disrupt the balance of nature and damage the ecosystem, thereby harming the environment and society. These suspects must be punished with the maximum sentence so there is a deterrent in effect. All international trade of pangolins and other heavily trafficked species is already prohibited under the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species, but trafficking remains a problem. Fortunately, many groups around the world are using multi-pronged approach to drive down trafficking. For example, the African Wildlife Foundation writes on its website that its members detect, deter, investigate, and prosecute wildlife crime through collaboration with wildlife agencies and law enforcement. The WWF also emphasizes the need for governments to crack down on illegal trading. So, yeah, it does seem like, again, I am not a super smart person, but if there was a way to domesticate and fill the needs of the market without, disrupting the natural, I don't know why you'd want to eat a pangolin. They look kind of freaking weird if you're asking me, but not penguins, not penguins, pangolins. Let me see if I can look one up real quick and let you guys see it. No, not. All right, so this is what a pangolin looks like. It's like the backyardigans, we're learning. So pangolins, sometimes known as scaly anteaters, are mammals of the order of Philodota, the one giant, the Manditi. So there we go, that's a pangolin. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't want to eat one. It kind of looks like a mystic from Dark Crystal. So I definitely would think it was one of the good guys. And I wouldn't want to eat it, but I'd totally have one as a pet. Which is probably why they, don't let you get them, because I would totally get one. I'd be like, this is my little pangolin friend. His name is, Pen. Well, if it isn't our favorite doomsday mom, and she doesn't want anyone to see that gorgeous smiling face. Now, I don't know about you or me, but I want cameras all up in this heifer's face because I bought a wig, and I hope that she wears that little baby ponytail because I have that kind of figured out. Hopefully my studio will be done and we will be able to petty express the Lori Daybell case, but she's trying to get us out of this courtroom, and we say, hell no, this is our popcorn, this is our train. I'd have to get two. Dark Allele, you're right. You would need Penn and Teller. Convicted killer and so-called doomsday cult mom Lori Vallow is asking courts to restrict media access in her upcoming Arizona murder trial, citing claims of defamation and misleading coverage. Ma'am, you are the definition of defamation and misleading. Vallow, who is representing herself, welcome to the shit show, let's get popcorn, y'all, filed an objection with Maricopa County Superior Court last month, asking the judge to block Court TV from streaming proceedings as she faces a second set of murder charges. Quote, Court TV should be ashamed of its very nature and its request, since its sole objective is not to bring people real news or facts, but instead its objective is to entertain the public with very true life tragedies that happen in real people's lives. Lori, you are the tragedy that happens in people's lives, and we are just seeing the aftermath. But that is her argument. Now, Vallow, who has already been convicted of unaliving her two children and her husband's ex-wife, wrote that in a court document obtained by Fox News Digital. Now, Vallow went on to claim that Court TV is using her and her husband, Chad Dorkbell, their images in commercials for the channel, alleging depictions have, quote, falsely characterized, libeled, and slandered the couple. Now, Daybell has been sentenced to death in Idaho for his role in the slayings of J.J. Vallow, Tylee Ryan, and Tammy Daybell. This gives Vallow a tremendous amount of control in the case. She has little to lose, and she's already been sentenced to life in prison in Idaho. Andrew Stoltman, a Chicago-based attorney, told Fox News Digital. She may be intending to turn this case into a three-ring circus, and the best way to do that is to represent herself. Since the infamous trial of O.J. Simpson, judges have a stronger personal opinion about allowing cameras into courtrooms and fear it could do more harm than good for the proceedings, according to Stoltman. There is a philosophical belief that it's good for the public to see judicial process in action, Stoltman said. There are also legitimate concerns that it tends to turn the attorneys and witnesses into actors who play up to the camera, which is typically not in the defendant's best interest. Well, no, I want to be able to see this. And she did something wrong. We cannot practice law in secret. Why do you think the Delphi case is blowing up? Had we had cameras, would it have taken this long for all of this to blow up? No, it wouldn't. So no, Lori, you're getting cameras in there. I am going to make fun of you. And stop. I've heard about Ruby Franke. So here's my opinion, and I don't want to be offensive, and I know people are deeply, deeply passionate about their religions, but here is my outside observer looking in kind of thing. I think that the LDS faith, the fact that there is, a strong value placed on personal revelations from the Lord, coming to the individual with what doesn't look like discernment as to whether that's truly something that is, a faith message, or if someone is just claiming sainthood. Because, and I'm not an expert by any means, so I may be totally wrong about this, but it seems that if you are going to have in your basis of religion that modern day saints, modern day revelations are, a thing in which you believe, then there has to be some discernment or some way to test if this is really, what's going on, or are you hearing things and trying to mold things to your own ends. It does seem rife with abuse if you can have modern day saints and all you need is, internal revelations. I don't know how there's testing. Look, I haven't even gotten one of those, those little Mormon missionaries to come to me. I don't know a whole lot, but that does seem like an issue that is constantly reoccurring. If you can claim sainthood, without any determination or kind of pushback. But, I mean, all I've noticed this is in cults, so, there you go. That being said, I have met lovely LDS people who are lovely and sweet and, just try to be kind people. So it takes all kinds. It really does. Now, this looks like a headline that would have come out of my HOA, but it's not. Jedi Jess, I will have to look at that. Definitely. I've got so many different cases that I want to look at. I'm kind of having my cup runneth over with true crime, and I'm having a hard time figuring out where I want to go next. So I do have like a sovereign sit thing right now, but I do want to make sure that, the next trial or case that we do doesn't have a kid in it, because that Megan Boswell case kicked my behind. That MFer is dead. Florida man lying in wait fatally shot a man on an ATV after complaints riding at an apartment complex. A 57-year-old Florida man hid behind an apartment building and waited for a man on an ATV to drive by before he shot him to death, following a complaint about him riding in the complex, authorities said. Ralph Francis Hansel stands accused of first-degree murder in the death of 32-year-old Jakeem Williams. Now, according to a probable cause arrest affidavit, the leasing office manager at Bay Point Apartments in Winter Garden, an Orlando suburb, called the police just before 4 p.m. to complain about a man riding an ATV in the complex. Just minutes later, another call came in to report that someone had been shot. Now, cops arrived on the scene and found a resident CPR on the man later identified as Williams, but unfortunately it was apparent that he was deceased. Now, witnesses told officers that they saw Hansel, armed with a force multiplier, walk from the leasing area towards Williams as he drove on the ATV. Hansel shouted something at Williams, but the witness could not make out what he was saying, and then shortly after that, the witnesses heard two loud bangs. Now, Hansel allegedly walked back to the leasing office and said, "I killed him." His defense attorney's just going to love this guy. Cops on the scene took Hansel into custody and recovered the force multiplier nearby. Surveillance video confirmed that Hansel was allegedly the shooter. It did show him walking from the leasing office and around the building with his firearm, where he stood lying in wait, according to police. Hansel then shot Williams as he drove past, according to cops. Detectives also reviewed the 911 call from the office manager, with a man in the background saying that MFer's dead, according to the affidavit. Good morning, Nicholas. This looks like a case we might have to look into. This has all the craziness. Now, hopefully I can find this and maybe they're live recording this, but holy God, what in the Walmart rapture? A local CBS affiliate, WKMG, said it was a knock on the door of Hansel's apartment, or it knocked on the door of Hansel's apartment. A woman who answered was the leasing manager that had initially called 911. She told the outlet that she lived with Hansel, but declined to speak further because the complex's owners told her not to speak publicly about the case. Now, according to NBC affiliate WESH, cops have been on the complex 4 times about people driving ATVs. The riders have been warned not to drive the ATVs in the complex, per the television station. But Brianna Bermudez, a mother of 3 of Williams' 5 children, told the outlet that he had no excuse to shoot and be killed because of the ATV. Quote, "He took the father of 3 of my children with no remorse, walked off and said, I shot him," Bermudez said. "He's gone. He didn't care. You shot him, not once but twice in the back of the head," end quote. Bermudez said that Williams enjoyed riding ATVs as a way to decompress. He does leave behind children aged 11, 10, 6, 4, and 11 months. The 2 mothers of his children sat down for an interview with local Fox affiliate WOLF. He was very active. Her 2 kids are older, Bermudez said. He's been with them for 10 years and stepped in. Those are his kids, 5 kids. So that's all the man cared about. That's all he did day in and day out. Now, Hansel is in Orange County without bond, and his court date is scheduled for February 28th. So Feb 28. I need to write that down because maybe we will get this streamed. And thank you so much. I don't work on it at all, but I'm glad you like it. My kids don't like it when I'm always telling them to clean their room. But what are you going to do? Now, I would be terrified to death. I don't know if you guys know this, but look, birds are nice in the sky. Big, giant, scary birds close to me, and that does include parrots and even lovebirds. Birds freak me out. I am sorry, they have sharp beaks. I was attacked by a goose when I was 4, and if I saw this come at me, there would be no way in Hades hell. I also would not be letting my kid touch it. No, that is a monster, scary dinosaur bird. We don't mess with them. Look, they used to be dinosaurs. They are pissed off that they no longer can be dinosaurs. They creep me out. Okay. And it's the feet. It's the scaly bird feet. I'm not going to lie. And then they have them at Walmart. I know you can eat them. No. Welcome to Moe's bird aversion. A rescued black vulture escaped from his home in Georgia at a nature show and has been seen wandering loose south of Atlanta. Robin Presley, operator of Animal Adventures Georgia, said the 1-year-old vulture named Buzz escaped from a flight cage at the historic Banning Mills in Whitesburg. Presley said on social media that Buzz was raised by humans and is extremely friendly. Buzz loves peoples, cuddles, and uppies and may fly to you, but he's not dangerous. Oh no, no, no. You would get him back in a nice little bucket with 11 spices and original seasonings. Let a bird fly up to me. It's just 911. I saw birds and I'm scarred. Presley is more concerned that someone might harm Buzz. Yes, look, I'm just saying it wouldn't have been intentional, but I startle greatly. So, yeah, he'd be in trouble. Buzz, if you think about coming to Indiana, don't land at my house. I am not a bird person. I love you, but stay far away from me. Yeah, me and Tippy Hedren like this. The birds are gone crazy. I just want people to know that he's not aggressive and I don't want anyone to hurt him. Now, Buzz was last spotted Thursday in a Columbus resident's yard, but he left before Presley could arrive. Well, I'll send him to you, Audio Coffee, because he would not be safe with me. I would try to help him and I'd be like, you are so scary. I have him at Broom. I would definitely be calling. Like, could you imagine? Only Mo. Hello, I have that demon bird in my backyard. He's at Broom Point. He's looking at me, and I know he has no soul. They'd be like, ma'am, why are you crazy? And I'd say, well, there are a lot of theories about that, and we haven't quite figured it out just yet. But apparently today is the day for animals wandering in the news. So here you go. We have Waldo, the Scottish bull. Let's see if we just get, because local news stations are hella ridiculous. Well, do we see the bull or not? Oh, here we go. Oh, I would find the bull and I would tell no one because look at that cutie patootie. Oh my gosh, I'd name him Bill and Bill would be my bull and we would take no bullshit. Animal control officers in Connecticut are asking residents to keep an eye out for an escaped Scottish Highland bull on the loose for about 6 weeks. Joanne Jorway, owner of Stone Ledge Farm in Kent, said the bull was unloaded from a trailer and spent about 5 minutes at his new home before breaking through a fence. He was actually bought as my eldest son's Christmas present because he wanted a Highland, and now his Christmas present is just running around. Jorway told Fox News 61, the bull has been seen wandering Litchfield County for about 6 weeks, earning him the appropriate name Waldo. It's been absolutely horrifying knowing that one of our animals is out there. Even though we only had him for 5 minutes, he's still our animal. He was meant to be here and breed with our cows. This is not how was intended to go. Well, just tell him that he gets to go get some, cow on cow action. Maybe you need to take the lady cows out. He'd just go home. I mean, look, not if I found him first. I would put him in some sneakers and try to get him home with me. Kent Animal Control has posted a photo of Waldo this week, along with a plea of residents to report any sightings. He was last seen over the line in New Milford, but if he heads back into the hollow, please don't chase him, the post said. Scottish Highland cattle, which are definable by their long hair, are famously friendly and a docile breed of cattle that are often kept per pet. I'm telling you, I am getting one. Screw getting chickens. I'm getting a Highland cow pony. There's no way. The HOA can't make me not do this. I feel like I'm entitled to my own cow. And in our final story, unfortunately, it is a sad one, but it is, pretty big news. Homicidal ideations. An angry man with admiration for mass unalivers unalived a 15-year-old with his car and stabbed a Walmart greeter during an hours-long rampage. Really? Okay, so you just want to be a Billy badass out there? How about you... And it's so sad because I can see my oldest, most feral boy child having one of these ridiculous little goofy mustaches, and he wears his hair like this. And you thought the Columbine kids were just so great. You just wanted to be special. You couldn't just brush your hair, take care of your own daggone life, and leave everyone the hell out of it like a normal person. Because the rest of us have a bunch of BS we're going through too. But we don't, run people over or stabulate them because we're not assholes. Again, could we get an asshole rapture? I mean, I'd be out of news, but it would all be good news, like puppies and kittens and, what is it, Mudang the hippo. It'd be great. I'd love the news if we had an asshole rapture. A California man with admiration for mass murderers has confessed to a going on an hours-long rampage in 2023 that ended with numerous people in the hospital and a 15-year-old dead after he mowed the teen down with his car along with several others out of, quote, personal frustrations. Well, how about this? I got a plan. Okay, I got a plan. Now, I have some personal aggression. And I was wondering if, since you're allowed to take it out on random people, according to you, could I take out my random frustration on you, sir? Because I'm confuserated, but you can't, just because you're a loser doesn't mean you get to wreck other people's lives. Austin Illis, 26, pled guilty last week to nearly a dozen felony charges connected with his Ventura County crime spree, which included stabbing and pepper spraying a Walmart greeter. Oh, hell no. Lord Chippy, again, a Walmart greeter, they are all old and usually in a wheelchair and usually just nice as peaches and punch. I mean, those are the nicest folks those are the only people are actually going to be at a Walmart. You can never find an effing cashier. You can never find an effing helper with a vest. But that MFing greeter's going to be there, daggone it. And then running over a group of students from his former high school, Westlake High School in Westlake Village, with his car, according to Ventura County District Attorney's Office. Wesley Welling, the teen who died, was standing with students on the sidewalk when Ellis intentionally drove into them with his vehicle on April 18, 2023, in an attempt to cause a mass event. Now, 3 others were hospitalized with severe injuries requiring surgeries and extensive medical treatment, the DA's office said Friday. Now, according to prosecutors, AS came from his parents' home where he broke in and stole multiple weapons while wielding a replica firearm and a knife after stabbing the Walmart greeter in Simi Valley. The series of violence events began shortly before 3 p.m. when S entered a Walmart in Simi Valley and assaulted a store greeter by spitting, pepper spraying, and stabbing him multiple times, the DA's office said in a press release Friday announcing his conviction. He then dragged another employee across the store. After going and getting additional weapons, Ellis admitted to intentionally targeting and driving into the group of Westlake students. Witnesses reported that he accelerated toward the students before striking them with his vehicle, which overturned after impact with a bus stop, the DA's office said. He also admitted to targeting the students out of personal frustrations and his desire to commit mass violence. While investigating the rampage, authorities learned that East had dark obsessions with both death and committing acts of violence. Investigators discovered a long history of violent threats, including admiration for mass gross people, and adherence to extremist ideologies, the DA's office said. Text messages and communications say that he had expressed intentions to carry out acts of violence for years. So where in the name of all that is Fazoli's was the FBI? I thought you have people in the post office that are looking at our mail. Don't think I forgot that, government. I know you have a special agency in the post office that you created to look at our online stuff. I know that you have big brothers. I know you have terabytes of information that you don't even go through, but you're telling me this a-hole had a bunch of I want to be a total douche stuff on everything and you couldn't find him? Make the FBI fit for purpose again. Will someone please? Now, Senior Deputy District Attorney Amber Lee, who prosecuted this case, said in a statement that getting someone like S off the streets through a plea deal was something that happened to, quote, reflect the full scope and severity of the defendant's depraved actions for a possible sentence of 85 years to life. The sentence will not only reflect his premeditated and calculated actions after years of homicidal ideations, but also the horrific nature of the crime spree he unleashed on innocent members of our community. This deposition allows dozens of victims to close this chapter of their lives without having to relive the trauma through courtroom testimony. He did plead guilty to 10 felony charges total, including first-degree murder and attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and false imprisonment by violence. He is due to be sentenced on April 14th. I'll see if they are covering that hearing. The defendant committed acts of terror and extreme violence that took the life of a teen boy and shattered the lives of many others, said District Attorney Narasinko in a statement. While no number of guilty pleas will ever close the anguish of the victims and their families, we will ensure the defendant's removal from society and impose accountability for his horrendous crimes. You know, I hate that we can't just send these people to the center of the sun. I mean, now we're going to have to pay for him, and he's going to make us substandard license plates and jeans for Levi's that I can't even wear. Start making Pentecostal skirts and we'll talk, sir. But honestly, here's my idea. Now, don't elect me for president yet, because again, professional silly person on the internets. But we want Greenland. We're doing nothing with Greenland as far as anything. I say we send these people to an island. We send over block shipments of, the bare essentials, and they have to figure out society for themselves. They obviously don't want to be catered by or, confined by the rules in our society. You get Hunger Island, you go there, and I don't have to deal with you no more. We stock it with alligators and sharks, and we just let them be. We have, you don't want to live in our society, you don't want to follow our rules, you go to Snake Island. I'm done. I mean, that would be my guess, but again, I am not sure that follows any of the Geneva Conventions. But this ain't Geneva, and I'm not really president. So there you go. All good things in America. Well, you guys, that has been the Mornings with Mo this morning, and I will be finding other stories and giving you newsy nuggets throughout the day. But Rosalind Duke was on with Law Talk with Mike, and she introduced me to this crazy hearing that involves sovereign citizens, a throuple, a stutter, and a judge who wants to, Borowski it all. So that is what we'll be watching today from 10 to whenever. It is a 2-hour long hearing, so we might not get through all of it today before I have to go pick up the young ferals. But that will be that. I will send you guys to that after. You don't have to stay, but just to let you know that it is coming up so you can be reminded when it goes up. Have a wonderful day. I will see you guys in a little bit with a throuple, a sovereign citizen, and a judge who doesn't get to drink gin on the seat. But he might want to. Bye, you guys.